Hello and welcome. Can you hear me? Yeah, it seems you can hear me all okay. So I'm going to talk about the real superpower of AI. It's not technical, it's contextual. And if at one point you follow me in some way, you will see that I am very much about context. Let's start. The first very interesting thing for me about this event is that I can say good evening, and I know it's evening for everyone, because usually I need to say good day, because sometimes it's morning for some people, evening for others. It's a mess. So thank you, we're all together. That's a rare thing, and I really appreciate it. Next, there are a couple of things that I think, I think statistically, I have your attention for the first 6 minutes, and then it's going to go down. So I'm going to try to keep you entertained on 6-minute slots. But the first, I'm going to start by talking about the two most important things that I think you should remember from this talk, and in particular, this first one, is I think that if you want to think about LLMs in particular, when you go to your ChatGPT, your Gemini, etc., always think about them, that's what works for me, as an overzealous intern. Okay? They're always agreeing with you, they're all absolutely eager to do stuff, they're always going to be right 80% of the time, but very badly wrong. And if you ask them to do one thing, you're usually going to get 3 out of it. When you do coding, it goes into incredible things. I asked for some specific things, and I had a plugin system all over me. So first thing, it's my trick. I see AI, or LLMs in particular, as an overzealous intern, and that helps me. Next, it's a story. It's a story that gives me shivers every time I say it. So this is a story that comes from a beautiful book, which is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I don't know if you've ever read it. If you've not, really worth it. I think it's sold 15, 20 million copies, just a monster. And it starts like this, and I'm going to ask you to impersonate it in your head. So imagine you're going out from the office, you're going into the tube. It's London, so you're in the tube. You're tired, it's been a long day, you're with your Kindle or whatever you're reading, and you want to relax while going home. And all of a sudden, chaos. You have a couple of kids that are just jumping around, screaming, shouting, hitting things, hitting people. It's just madness. And they hit you also. And so you're getting very upset. So you get up and you search for that adult, responsible in theory adult, because these kids are too little to be on their own. And you see that person, it's potentially the dad is there, and you go and complain because you are really upset at that point. And you say, get a grip, block these kids. And the guy looks at you and tells, we're coming from the hospital, their mom died 1 hour ago, I don't know what to do, neither do they. All of a sudden, that person, these kids, you want to protect. Absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing, has changed. The facts are the same, they're screaming, they're shouting, they're doing everything. What has changed is context. And at that point, the context has changed everything for you. So my second thing, most important, is context. And in particular, I do believe that context is everything that is missing in most of the tech world. Now I've got your attention for 6 minutes. I'm going to try to change the gears and 2 more positive things also. So AI real breakthrough. And as I say, it's part of the talk. But people, when you listen to AI, and I'm a techie at heart, okay, I come from very technical background. I was an AWS ambassador. I was all kind of fantastic things. I continue to be passionate about the thing. And we all talk about the speed, the accuracy, the hallucination, the number of parameters, and the neural system, and all these kind of things. But I do believe that the real breakthrough is that AI will adapt to whatever you throw at it, to your context, immediately. You can ask an LLM, for particular, act as a financial analyst. Explain me this concept as if I was 10. You can go rewrite this content as a head of risk. You can have an LLM changing the context and thinking, going through all the context. And we're going to talk about this during this talk. As we've seen before, that change of context can transform things very fast and immediately. That's the dessert. I love dessert, but yeah, not the dessert and dessert. Traditional tools also give you generic answers because they've been done for how much they say that you listen to your customers, you do the right thing, but you can only listen to certain customers. You cannot listen to all your customers. You need to pick the ones that you're going to listen to and you're going to do your features about. And if you are lucky enough to have a team of developers for you, well, you're going to have to give them requirements and all these kind of things. Well, on the other side, if you use it correctly, AI can give you your answer with your world, in your language, and in your messy reality, in your messy context of today. And it's my opinion, I might have to check that, but it is the first technology that bends around the human instead of forcing the human to learn a new tool, to learn a new way of doing. I did a big part of this, even conversation, this presentation, talking, getting answered, disagreeing, agreeing, we're continuing like this. So that adaptability is the foundation of everything we're going to explore today. And this was a talk about financial services. So we're going to talk about the financial services paradox, as I call it. The financial services industry, and I'm not in it, so be kind, for me, works at two extremes. On one extreme, it is there are tons of regulation, you have the audit trail, you have the control, you have the predictability, determinism. It needs to be always the same. You can bend the rules, there are things that need to be perfectly aligned. And this is something that AI does extremely badly, because AI is a probabilistic box. So if you ask 3 times the same stuff, you might have different answers, and sometimes different answers that disagree with each other, which in that area of financial services doesn't work. The other bit is the other extreme, is a hyperhuman. It is the one that when you do an investment, you want to know who is the person managing that fund. You want to go to that person because you believe that that person, their contact, their conversation, their guts, their knowledge, their experience is the thing that's going to change everything. So it is totally human, and it is based on data that is not available online. So again, AI is absolute rubbish at this because it doesn't have the talk with Alice, the super analyst that knows everything. But the real interesting bit, and what we're going to discuss today, is in the middle. It's how can we use AI outside of these two extremes. And I think and I had a fight. I think impersonification is a real word. I'm not sure my grammar system trusts that, but hey, bear with me. So let's talk about life, and let's give you an example of how you can use it. So imagine, theoretically, not everyone's case, that you have a 16 years old at home, teenager. Any teenager would work. And you want them to join a family trip to Egypt, all family together. You can already imagine the scenario. You go, raise their head from the phone, look at you, says no, down, and in the room. What you can do, first, your instinctive reaction is probably going to be, if you're like me, frustration and shouting, but that's not a good answer. You all know that. So the idea is that you can start preparing yourself. You can start asking AI to impersonate a teenager that really hates the concept of going to an Egypt trip, and asking, and I'm going to read the things I've prepared, act as a 16-year-old who has the idea. Show me their objections so you can prepare. And I'll come back later and explain why this works. Show me where the emotional traps are. Show me the things I'll be tempted to say that are going to make things so much worse, because they will be, guaranteed. And you can simulate the conversation, the answers. You can build a script where you are proud of. It might not turn out that way. You might just say yes, and hey, happy surprise. But the other thing also is that you can start you can start creating your answers that you really will feel you're good at. You can defend with yourself. So first thing here, if AI can help you with household diplomacy, there is a good future. And where's my clicker? Well, I'm going to use the keyboard. Here we go. Okay, so I'm repeating that. If you want to take, it was 51 pictures. Show me the objections. Show me where the emotional terms are. Show me where the things I'll tend to say. I'll make it worst. And now we're going to go to the example for work. You might have that customer that it's a difficult customer, okay? It's not a hostile customer. It doesn't hate you in any form or way, but you often have no idea on what is their state. You dread that conversation. You have no clue if it's going to go well or bad. And in the same way, you can ask to act as this customer. You can give some context. You can explain things. You don't have to go into the details that are going to make it sharing information that is not yours, but overall, it can really help. You can also ask, what are they worried about? And it's fun because worry is something we all have, but we never talk about. And so, luckily, that's where LLMs quite are good, because they have all the information of everything. And if you define well that role of that person, you might be able to highlight what happened in the last week that might make them worry. What tone would frustrate them? What do they really want from this conversation? And it's all going to be probabilities, okay? So it might not be correct, but it's going to help you prepare. And I use one which is quite funny, so that's me. And I have some sort of a prompt, and I say, look at that page and tell me a ton of things. What are the standard, the right over there, the ocean snapshot, there are tons of the 4 letters, the 16 personality tests, all this kind of stuff. And AI will just try to extract from mine or anyone else's profile and say, hey, that's the best way you can talk to that person. That's how they present themselves to the world. You should try this, you should try that. It's going to help you prepare. Ask AI to analyze their industry, their latest news, their internal priorities. What happened the last 2 weeks about that company that might get them happy or unhappy? What is a topic that you might want to talk about with them that might create that bridge at the beginning that is going to make that conversation start, less bad than last time, possibly? And then do something that is really funny. Flip it. And try to ask to act as the best version of me. I want to be calm, I want to be effective. Now you have that person who is difficult, and I've given you lots of context. Start that conversation. Start understanding how things are going to work together. Everything's okay for now? Good? And again, it's connected and at the same time on its own. It's understanding other people's context. You can use AI for that. So every role or every person you interact with, they have a narrative in their head. They're thinking, they see the world. That's why we all think that our way is the right way and everyone else doesn't understand the thing. Because we all have our own narrative in our heads. And we really see the world through that narrative. And so let's ask, for example, what shaped their decisions? So those are just examples. Okay, it's just to trigger your brain, to trigger your ideas. But next time you're going to have a conversation with someone you really do not understand, start by asking those kind of things. Start by trying to better understand them. What are they rewarded for? That's a big one. I can tell you, when I start talking, especially with salespeople, usually, it's a very important one, because they have a reward system that's going to tell you that right now, and you'd probably know it, if they sell AI, it's good for them. So, hey, is that something I can use? What do they fear losing? What's the risk at the moment? Is the company doing well? Do they fear losing their jobs? That can tell you that's a very big fear. What are the hidden constraints? What don't build trust? So you can not only ask about the other person, but what are the things I can do that will make things better? Now we're going to do some psychology. I'm going to explain you how all of this works. It comes from absolutely amazing book, which I invite you all to read, which is The Chimp Paradox. It's quite funny because most of the top bestseller books in business and are fables or stories or things like that. And this one is exactly the same way. So the drawings are coming from the books. And the idea is that we have three things in our brains. We have the chimp. The chimp is the one that is, the chimp is fast, it's emotional, it's reactive. It panics first, thinks later. That's the one that we have. It's called instinct, we usually call it, but the reality, it is our thing that we've evolved for survival over the years. And if that chimp detects something, will act, your brain will never, ever even receive the information. Your human brain, which we're going to talk about, the chimp has total authority and is stronger than anything else, your instinct, which is good when, I'll explain you one thing, but at school I had a teacher that explained to us that sharks, when you see a shark, you will probably see two fins because they have their tails, which is also vertical. What if you see a dolphin, it's one fin only and you're very happy. But the next thing was, if you see a fin, you get out of the water and then you decide if it's a shark or not. And that's the chimp. On the other side, you have the one that you want, that's the brain, the human, and that's the logical purpose, the best you, the one that takes time to think. The problem of that one, it is slow, always after the chimp, consume tons of energy, so by default your brain doesn't like this one much, because you have a headache at the end of the day if you use that one too much. Which is why you have the other one, which is the computer, which is the reference library. And the idea is that if you prepared a scenario in your head, okay, like we were doing before, and you put that scenario and you agree with that scenario in your head, it is going to be stored in the computer. And when something is stored in the computer, the chimp will not intervene, will start by saying, I need to scream, followed by, oh, but I have that, and act upon it. This is the second, this doesn't require much energy, so we're good to go. Okay? The fun bit is, if you read the book, it's also based, it's an easier to read version of Daniel Kahneman, Things Fast and Slow, which is an absolutely amazing book, but just quite heavy. But overall, this is all psychologically valid. So Monday morning, it's not going to be Monday morning, Friday, but I think, like, come on, tomorrow is, let's say, after the weekend. Let's not complicate our lives. Try, my recommendation is really host one high-stake conversation with AI. Just try it. Say, hey, it might be at home, it might be at work, it might be just for fun, just to try something. You're going to be hard with me, you're going to be tough. Ask it to impersonate the other person, and then ask it to impersonate you. The best version of you. I hope you're going to like that version too. And then the other thing is try to map the context of someone you do not fully understand. There are these people that you never understand exactly why they're doing what they're doing. And so at that point, start from their LinkedIn page, start asking what pressure shaped their world, what are they rewarded for, etc., all the things we've talked about earlier. And just to remind me that I need to close all things. So, from the opening, this is come full circle, and I'm going to read this because I kind of prepared this. In the opening story, nothing changed except the context, and suddenly everything made sense. AI roughly works the same way. Its real superpower isn't technical, it's contextual. It adapts to you, to your conversation, your pressures, your reality. It helps you understand others better, prepare better, communicate better, and show up as the best version of yourself. It enhances the thing that shapes every conversation, every decision, every collaboration, context. So the real superpower of AI is the same superpower that makes us human, really. If you want to connect, so this one is website, and this one is LinkedIn, and this one's the email. You do as you want. Happy to chat with you, and if at any conference you see a bald person with round red glasses, I want to talk to you. Thank you.